What's poppin' YouTube? You already know who it is. Today we'll be talking about the top 5 myths that the common people believe about the division. This is my personal list and can change at any time. This is just what I feel are the top 5 in no particular order. So without further ado, let's get it. First things first, let's get into the main thing that everybody talks about, and that's that the game is dead, right? Everybody says there's points where the game feels like there's no players and it feels like everybody's leaving and the game's trash, and that everybody says this and that is broken, and you know, everybody has their reasons to leave. So addressing this, I feel it is a myth. I feel personally a lot of people are going to be at some point, whether it be in between a patch, during a patch, right in the beginning of the patch, or whatever. Everybody's not going to be pleased. There's going to be some players who are super hype about a certain patch and certain changes that they've been waiting for, and another player says those changes are irrelevant to me. You took away what I liked. I'm bouncing. So there's always going to be like this fluctuation of player base based off of what they feel should or should not be in the game. This has come natural in like a game that's built around balancing. Division is already like a big problem with balancing, and I honestly feel like that contributes to why people say the game is dead. But I can honestly say, even as a content creator, and I know there's been times that my channel slowed down due to the pace of the game because, you know, people weren't interested or people backed out or whatever, I still can say honestly that the game has never been dead. And when you say dead, you got to realize what you're saying. So when I think of dead personally, I think of like World at War. Call of Duty World at War has like 400 players a day, whatever, or something like that on console, where you have to spend forever queuing and all that nonsense. With the Division, I don't think there's ever been a time, even in the lowest, that I can't find a super lit server. Regardless, even if there is dead servers, because there are dead servers, we know this, you can almost guarantee find fights. I mean, most people who still play, like consistently play, not people who hop on for 2 seconds, find a dead server and say there's nobody. I'm talking to people who actually try to find a server. They find a server, you know what I'm saying? You find battles, you find teams battling out, you find people farming, you queue up for Lexington or queue up for any mission, there's always people. Whether they're new, whether they're old, or whether they're, you know, just casual players, you do come across people, so you can't say the game is dead when they still are working on it. Yes, there's a pace that they haven't really kept in comparison to when the game was, you know, at its peak, but I can honestly say that the game is still alive and well, especially that they're releasing new patches, and every time a new patch comes out, regardless of the people who bounced off or the people who claim yada 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 the game's dead, they still end up coming back just like everybody else. So that's one big thing that I have to put out first. I think honestly, if I was to put a #1, that is the #1 myth. Kind of feel like when newer players come on and they say, is this game worth buying or is it worth playing, a lot of the veteran players who are upset with certain decisions are going to be like, no, it's dead, it's trash, this is broken, because their favorite gun got nerfed. Or if you're a Seeker user, Seekers got nerfed, Stickies got nerfed, whatever, you know what I'm saying, certain gear set changes, all that, yada yada. A lot of people are going to be upset about that, and the game is automatically dead because they decided to themselves, I'm not playing this no more. So you got to be able to differentiate the difference between a person that's unhappy with the game and calls it dead, and the actual reality of a video game being dead. That means all support is done, updates are done, players are gone, that whole works. When it comes to like older Call of Duties or something, like I use World of War because that's like the perfect example. They don't update it, you know what I'm saying? They don't add anything new to it. There's no real maintenance. Hackers run rampant. That's when you know a game is dead, when the devs and the admins and all that, they just stop completely. The Division is worked on all the time. It's updated. There's still stuff in the works for it, and I honestly do feel there is a future for it, as long as they keep pulling their strings right, you know what I'm saying? Even though they're working on their next game, in my opinion, I still feel like they're doing what they can to keep the game alive, in a sense that they don't want to just drop it and leave it unmaintenanced and all that. Like you have a weekly maintenance every Thursday, so you can't call a game dead if they're still working on it just because you're upset with it. So that's that. I'm glad I got that out the way, because you guys really need to understand that, and I truly feel like the people who complain about the game being dead are the ones that sit there and watch videos on it all day anyways. Get into my next one, 1v1s. Okay, this is a super touchy subject. So a lot of people really think that 1v1s make you better than the other player. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for the most part, you do outplay them. You know, you can out-aim them, out-strafe them, do whatever you can. And in that moment, you can drop them off and you feel good. But overall, by playing this game, I think I have a pretty good say on whatever I'm talking about when it comes to this game. I'm not just speaking off of just biased opinion. I've tried every outlet of the game possible, and I honestly say there's been a lot of times in 1v1s that I don't really feel better than than the actual player, or I don't feel worse if I was to lose. There's just too many variables. Gear comes into play. You got better gear. You can get a lucky not med kit pop. You can just one person could be a 1v1er, and it is a meta game in itself. There's a way to 1v1 that works, popping your heals and knowing that stuff, all that different kind of things. People take that to head, and that is how most of the quote-unquote known players take the game in their head. Okay, we're known, we're the best players because we're good at 1v1s. The game isn't built for 1v1s. It never has, it never will be. So there is no true ladder, and there is no true like gauge to tell who is better based off like a 1v1. A 1v1 is just a 1v1. There's different scenarios that you will lose in, there's different scenarios that you will win in. So I just wanted to put that out there. So that is another huge myth. Another big myth is that and I laugh when I say this because I know I'm one of them. So a lot of people know I made my channel off of the sticky bomb. So it was very popular and unpopular. It's infamous and famous at the same time. People loved it because it was something new, it was fun, it was super dope. We know that's why I got to where I am now with YouTube. But there are the super, I'm not gonna call them tryhard players, I'll say casual shooter players, the people who are used to first-person shooters or third-person shooters. They didn't like that very much, and they consider that cheesy, they consider that bad, they consider that not acceptable in the terms of, okay, you're a good player. So when the reason I'm going with this is I'm not just saying just like sticky bombs, I'm saying sticky bombs and seekers and fire turrets and shock turrets and shock nades and all the things and all the tools that the game has to offer. Nades, especially nades, are a big thing because of short bows. People make it seem when you're in a fight or something, the quickest thing they could hop to say is you're trash because you nade spam. You're trash because of the shock turret. You're trash because of the flame turret. You're trash because of the deadeye. You're trash because of the seekers. You're trash because of the sticky. It doesn't matter. It's always been either you're shooting me and chicken dancing around me, or you're bad. So that is a myth. If you are a player that enjoys support roles, sniper roles, electronic builds based around turrets and crowd control, you are not a bad player. You are your role. You play your role in what you need to do. It doesn't make you any less of a better player because you're not running around ADSing or running around hip firing. So that is a true myth in the game, that using tools in the game makes you bad, whether it be a nade, whether it be a turret, or whether it be anything, an EMP, regardless. They were put in the game, they're going to be used. If you don't use them, they will be used against you. If you go manhunt, you will be hit with a nade. You will be shocked. You will be put on fire. They will do it regardless. Every person in this game has used a flame turret, has thrown a nade, has thrown a shock nade, has popped an ult. Everybody has done it. So there are no grounds to call people bad on that. Going to the next thing, that the meta needs to be followed in order for you to be a successful player. Me of all people, I can speak against this. You do not need to run the meta in order to be good and in order to body people. There are all kinds of different options that every player can partake in that works out for them. You do not have to follow the typical high-end or typical combination that everybody says in order to be good. So let me just knock that out. That's a quick one. That's easy. We know this. The players that play around with builds, they know that that's not the reality. And the last one, and this is a famous one in the DZ, and it's running off your manhunt makes you bad. It does not. There are situations where you run on your manhunt, when you run your manhunt off because you're out of ammo, you're out of med kits, whatever, funneling, all that stuff. It does not make you bad. It does not make you scared. It does not make you trash because you end up running off your manhunt. Yes, if you get manhunt and run up north, people don't like that. That's just known. It is what it is. But overall, there are situations in which you are manhunt and you have to get loose. So that is another huge myth that people believe, is that running off manhunts is trash at all times. It's not. There are certain situations that people look down on, and there's certain situations that people are in. If you're out of med kits, you're out of ammo, you have to book it. You don't have to just sit there and fight 5 hours straight to prove a point. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I just want to let you guys know my top 5 myths. If I missed any, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you guys see that there are a lot of things in the game that are believed that are completely far from true. And I'm speaking on the terms of a content creator and a player just like you guys. Don't listen to people when it comes to these things and many other things that you feel. Have fun with the game, play it how you want, and enjoy it. Thank you all for stopping by. Your boy is out.